Welcome back to the channel, all my financial warriors. This is the original crypto god of all five. That's a term I want you guys to get acquainted with, all five. Because when you go in here and you're trying to accumulate some wealth and or generational wealth, you hear DeFi, you hear CeFi, which is centralized finance, and people pick their little corners and their little niches, and that's fine. You might be a trader, you might be an investor, but the thing about it is, like a person who practices the art of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, which is total freedom, we use all means and are bound by none, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to point towards AI, ladies and gentlemen, because the perfect user, as Raoul Pal said, the perfect user for blockchain, ladies and gentlemen, isn't even yourself. It's AI. And the perfect user for AI is AI agents. So we will be talking about that as we continue on and we go deeper into this journey. So if you are here, lock in, because I'm going to show you how to get this generational wealth. I am going to teach you how to be an owner of the money of the future, not just a mere consumer. Understand the difference between those who are wealthy and or financially independent and those that are consumers. Consumers will never be wealthy because it all comes down to your behavior, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get underway, I just want to let you know what our debacle is, ladies and gentlemen. Our debacle is that our dollar lost 23% since 2020. What are they talking about? I still got my dollar in my pocket. No, we're not talking about the physical dollar. We are talking about the purchasing power of your dollar, ladies and gentlemen. You see, it is conceptual. I told you before, 1 + 1 is 2 in the physical world. In the conceptual world, 1 + 1 is 3. Why? Because one known idea plus another known idea brings you forth to the third unknown idea. This is how knowledge is born. Okay? This is how we manifest. This is how inventions are made. Okay? So in order for you to become wealthy, you have to understand when you are dealing with the physical and when you are dealing with the conceptual and or theoretical. So this is what we're doing today. So our national debt, of course, is up to 39 trillion. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret, guys. They don't plan to pay this back. Or even if they pay back some of it, they're going to share the load with the rest of the world through the use of stable coins, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get underway, let's just consider what our debacle is, because in order to understand money, you have to understand who controls the resources of the money, who sets the precedence and the infrastructure of how money is going. So we have the president here, Donald Trump, who has been friendly towards crypto because he understands more than anybody else where this is going, that we are moving from the fractional reserve monetary system created in 1933 to the new system of crypto digital assets and or the tokenization of everything. So in order to understand what Trump is doing financially that affects us directly and indirectly, is we have to consider who's behind Trump. And the first person we got to look at is his mentor. And his mentor was Roy Cohn. All right. So if you study Roy Cohn, then you will start to understand the mind of Trump and how he maneuvers. Now, who does Trump have behind him in the here and now? That, of course, is Scott Bessent. Now, why is Scott Bessent so important? Scott Bessent is important because, first of all, he's in the here and now. First of all, he is in the White House right here and right now. But also, if we understand the mind of Scott Bessent, how he's advising Trump, is we got to understand what Scott Bessent has done in the past. What Scott Bessent has done in the past is he worked for George Soros, ladies and gentlemen. He is the one that, as it even says here, as the 79th president, he was a partner to the Soros Fund, management, and founded Key Square Group, a global macro investment firm. And it talks about his his sexual stuff here, but we're not here for what happens in his bedroom. We're here to understand what he has done in the finance realm. And what he did in the finance realm is he helped George Soros to it should state it here somewhere about what actually happened, what he did with Soros, but since they don't mention it, I'll mention it. And basically what he did is he helped George Soros to break the bank of Europe. And they made billions of dollars doing that. And just to summarize. And then they went and they did it again in Japan. You know what I'm saying? With the Japanese yen. Okay? And they made billions of dollars there. And then they went and they did the same thing recently in Iran, where they broke the economy in Iran. Now, notice the pattern, ladies and gentlemen, because Scott Bessent is an expert at seeing the vulnerabilities in a country's economy and how to get rich off of breaking somebody else's system. So now, let's move into the here and now. The here and now of the fractional reserve monetary system and or the world reserve currency right now of the American dollar. That system, ladies and gentlemen, that is being headed up by the Federal Reserve. And the thing is, we all know that that's deception because the Federal Reserve, first of all, it's not federal because it is not a government entity. It is privately owned. So they are not federal and they don't have any reserves. Everything that they give to the government, when they give the government money, when they inject liquidity into or give it to the government, they simply print it out of thin air, ladies and gentlemen. It is not backed by anything. It has not been backed by anything since 1971, since we went off the gold standard, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I just wanted to give you that quick little heads up of what our debacle is. And just to show you something else, let me take a quick look at this and here. What is the approximate purchasing power of our dollar now? The purchasing power of the US dollar has decreased over time due to inflation. As of March 2026, the consumer price index for all urban consumers in the US city average was 30.3 cents, ladies and gentlemen, indicating a significant decline in purchasing power compared to historical values. Now, my number is much lower than that, but let's just go with those numbers, just for all of those of you that, because if you Google it, this is what you're going to get. So basically, every dollar you have in your pocket, according to this, is only worth 30 cents, ladies and gentlemen. That means almost 3/4 of every dollar in your pocket that you're making, whether it's in the bank, whether it's under your mattress, 3/4 of the wealth you think you have is gone. Okay? Now, if you are working, and I'm sure most of you have a visible means of support and you're working 12 months a year, but because of taxes, they take the taxes out your check before you even see it. But if you add up all of the taxes that you pay in a year, it equates at least 4 months. That's right. So that means you are working 4 months out of the year completely for free. But wait, it gets better. You still got 12 months worth of bills that you have to pay on an 8 months worth of money. That's why we're broke. That's why we're poor. That's why we are consumers. So in order for us to become wealthy, ladies and gentlemen, we have to change our behavior, and we change our behavior by educating ourselves on how the game works. The game works by first of you finding tax hedges. The game works by you becoming more disciplined. The game works by you understanding the concept or the principle of compound interest. But compound interest is only available to you when there is no taxing being involved. This is why the SEC dragged Ripple through court for 4 years, trying to determine whether XRP was a security or was it an asset. Was it a digital asset? Is it your property? Or is it a security? Because see, if it's a security, then that means we can tax you, because all securities, when you generate profit, it generates a taxable event. And if it's a taxable event, that cuts into your profits. As a matter of fact, it is very difficult to earn profit when you're being taxed. This is why church and religion separates money from the state. This is why nonprofit organizations become nonprofit. You see, so that they can still have a budget, they can still pay their staff, they can still have employees, but they don't have to worry about being taxed. And they can direct any funds that they have on hand to wherever they would like to have it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so with all of that, now that you know how screwed you are, let's get into why we are actually here. We are here to earn that compound interest, and that's why crypto is so powerful, because most of the things that we deal with here on this channel, on Kung Tech Fu, does not generate taxable events, ladies and gentlemen. Now, some things will generate a taxable event, but that's okay. You know, this is why you have to you have to educate yourself so that you know what you're dealing with. You know, and sometimes it's okay to generate a taxable event, you know, because if you do, now you can use those taxes to your advantage as well, because now you can give that to, if you take a loss, you see what I'm saying? If you're running your life like a business, you can write that off on your taxes. All right. But for the most part, as it stands now, this is why we're waiting for things like the Clarity Act and all of that. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the Clarity Act, when it comes to stable coins and things of that nature, that doesn't really affect the DeFi sort of people. So this is why I practice all fi. I do a little bit of traditional finance and macroeconomics, and I intertwine it with decentralized finance. You see what I'm saying? So this is why in crypto, it's all about the capital. You have to have the capital on hand so that you can take advantage of finance, which are the opportunities that are before us, ladies and gentlemen. So first and foremost, we're going to take a look at Hyperliquid, ladies and gentlemen. Hyperliquid is a monster like no other when it comes to decentralized finance. It is the blockchain to house all finance, ladies and gentlemen. It is, as it says here, crypto is fragmented today, but it doesn't need to be. For the first time, build projects, create value, and exchange assets on the same hyper-performant chain. Now, most of you have heard of Hyperliquid. I myself have been involved in Hyperliquid, but now I have become very minimalistic with the capital that I have on hand, ladies and gentlemen, because I just don't manage my own funds. I manage the funds of several other people. And very soon, I will invite you guys to join my personal digital asset treasury company. And I will let you know when that actually takes place. But for now, this is Hyperliquid, ladies and gentlemen. And it is a premier decentralized exchange. There's no KYC at this point in time, at the time of this video. And it is a Hyperliquid stack. It goes in here. It allows you to do this, that, and the other. But my entire point, I'm not here to explain Hyperliquid to you today. I am primarily here today just to show you where to look, because the common theme of my videos, ladies and gentlemen, is things you should know, or things you must know. I really don't like that word should. Let's say things you must know if you are serious about getting this money, if you are willing to do it. That's what separates winners from losers, because winners are willing to do that which losers are not willing to do. Everybody says they want to live a better life. Everybody says, they want money. And of course, everybody wants money. But what are you willing to do in order to do that? Now, I'm not saying you should do anything unscrupulous, doing things that are, violate your integrity or dignity. No, we don't do that. We must have right vocation, whatever we do, especially since we are, God-fearing people, or, God-conscious people, So we're not here to do anything unscrupulous. We're not here to take advantage of anybody. We're not here to lie, steal, cheat, deceive, none of that, okay? You can get money in the right way. You can be successful in the right way. You don't need to sell your soul. You don't need to do blood sacrifices. You don't need to do any of that, okay? You don't need to negate yourself, because, hey, at the end of the day, what should it profit a man to gain the world but lose his own soul? So we are here to talk about Hyperliquid is doing another airdrop, ladies and gentlemen. So what I will do is in the next video, I will actually take you through Hyperliquid and show you how to farm this airdrop, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's take a quick look over here, and I'm going to show you guys where to look. Now if we go over here and we go into my little search bar over here on CoinGecko, I'm going to show you, first of all, BitTensor Tau. BitTensor Tau, decentralized AI, which is a combatant to the centralized AI, because we cannot allow 4 or 5 guys to control the destiny of all humanity. All right, so we need to have decentralized AI where anyone can get in and they can decide how much or how little they want to be involved in centralized AI. But you will have the key, because BitTensor Tau with its 128 subnets are actual businesses generating billions of dollars, and all roads lead back to BitTensor Tau. So you will hold the key to decentralized AI while keeping humans in the loop. Now if we go over here, we're looking at VVV, another AI project created by Eric Voorhees, ladies and gentlemen. And what this one is this is like a privatized ChatGPT, because open ChatGPT censors you, it surveils you, and if you say anything wrong to a group of people that get their feelings hurt very easily, they will come after you, ladies and gentlemen. And as a matter of fact, I just saw something very disturbing of a 23-year-old girl in Florida that simply made a joke about people that like to wear small hats, and they gave her 15 years in prison. So if we look down here, Venice boasts an innovative approach to generative AI, and basically what you can store tokens on it. You can use it as an API generator. You can also use it to pay for your inferences if you get deeply into AI. But it's a wonderful, wonderful project, ladies and gentlemen. And then of course we have Dogecoin. Now, why are you bringing up Dogecoin? Isn't that kind of like a meme coin or whatever? But it kind of is, but it kind of isn't, because Dogecoin is nothing but Litecoin where they just painted a dog over the Litecoin logo. Okay, so that's what Dogecoin is. But as you can see, Dogecoin is doing very well, and you can go down here and you can read about it if you like. But Dogecoin is going to do quite well because Elon Musk is now releasing X Money, ladies and gentlemen, and X Money is going to basically replicate what they're using in China, which is an app called WeChat, and they pretty much pay for everything through that. So he's going to replicate that over here. So X Money on Twitter, what used to be called Twitter, the app formerly known as Twitter, which we now call X. And Elon, if you're listening, man, you should change it back to Twitter. Nobody likes X, only you. But I guess we all have to get used to it because he's not giving us a choice. But I don't know anybody that likes that name. Anyway, X Money is coming out, and Doge, we all know Doge is one of his favorite coins, and Doge will go up in value. So get your Doge wallet ready, ladies and gentlemen, and do your thing. And of course, one of my favorite, hush hush projects, Tibber, ladies and gentlemen. Tibber is on the base chain, and it is it's big. I've done a video on this before, but I'm just going to tell you to go and take a look at Tibber. It's on the base chain. You can easily get the token. You can stake it. You can provide liquidity with it. But most of all, stack it, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to do wonderful things in the future. And then of course we're going to look at Dash, ladies and gentlemen. Dash, of course, is another privacy payment rail. So you want to gear yourself towards privacy coins, because privacy coins is the order of the day. We just had the hackers in North Korea, Lazarus, and some other hackers just steal billions of dollars within the last 2 weeks. They've stole many billions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. And as quantum computers come in, it's going to get even worse. But if you have private, if the theme of your portfolio is privacy, they can't hack you, because they can't hack you if they don't know that you exist. All right. And that, of course, leads us to Zcash, because as the saying goes, Bitcoin is protection against fiat, and Zcash is protection against Bitcoin, because Zcash has the skeletal structure of Bitcoin, just like BitTensor Tau that I just showed you. BitTensor Tau, I forgot to mention that about BitTensor Tau, the decentralized AI, that also has the skeletal system of Bitcoin, 21 million and all of that jazz. But Zcash is private Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. And it's also integrated with Near Protocol and AI, and you can do a lot of wonderful things with it. It's very fast. It's private. You can have shielded transactions, or you can choose not to have shielded transactions, okay? And that's why it's doing its thing in these days and time, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, we got, you know, saying number one on my list, okay, which, of course, is Canton Network. And Canton, we've done plenty of videos in that. I'm always tweeting about it or Xing about it in X. You know, that doesn't even sound right. Xing about it in X. But that doesn't sound right. It should be named Twitter. Anyway, you know, Canton Network walked in the door. In all of crypto, there's only 3.1 to 3.9 trillion dollars in all of crypto. That's including Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything. Canton walked in with $10 trillion of their own money, completely separate from the crypto market. And it's a native utility token, and it's designed to reward real network usage over speculation. Okay, so basically it rewards people. So here's the thing I want people to understand about Canton. You know, understand this. You, in all actuality, cannot buy Canton coin directly. Okay, because it is a coin that is given out to people who provide value to the network. So if you do buy Canton coin off the market, you are getting it secondhand. There is no way to get it firsthand unless it is given to you for free as a reward for your participation in the network. You understand? Good, good. All right. Now let's go to something that I just learned about today, ladies and gentlemen. And this is OPG. And OPG stands for Open Gradient, and it's a network for open intelligence, a decentralized infrastructure network designed to host, inference, and verify AI models at scale. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to let them tell you.
In today's world, everyone is racing towards artificial general intelligence, but most are running in the wrong direction.
He's right. Instead of a single godlike model, there will be millions of agents powered by many specialized models, interacting, coordinating, and evolving together. That world needs a foundation.
Meet Open Gradient, a 10-person team in New York, building in the open.
While balancing bold ideas with espresso shots, Open Gradient is the open intelligence network, which is verifiable and censorship resistant, where AI agents can prove what they've done and collaborate without permission.
Agent tool calls, API requests, model inferences, all verified on a ledger so that AI systems stay secure and inspectable.
This is the foundation for powering, securing, and proving every single AI interaction.
That's right. We have a burgeoning ecosystem of exciting new apps and use cases, like the world's first ever decentralized AI model repository, or state-of-the-art memory that uses your data to personalize your AI experience and creates your digital twin. And financial AI agents that provide insightful market analytics with machine learning models.
And we're just getting started as we march towards mainnet launch.
We've engineered for trust and performance since day one.
Censorship-resistant model access, deterministic workflows, high-throughput execution, and flexible tooling that teams can adopt today.
AGI is coming, and we believe it should be openly verifiable and accessible to all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are going to continue on. I'm showing you this one, guys, because I want to show you. I'm trying to pause it here. This guy right here, this is the head guy from Near Protocol, which is a blockchain specifically designed for AI. So it's something that you can now see OPG or Open Gradient has aligned and partnered themselves along with the Near Protocol, ladies and gentlemen. So if we go on over here and we go to the actual web page for Open Gradient, we can see right here, I actually bought some this morning, and right now it's on a tear, it's on a rip, and the network of Open Intelligence. So you can go to Open Gradient AI, and you could just take a look at this. Now, I don't even think the mainnet is live, because when I looked earlier, I think they're still in the test net. I think we're all waiting for the mainnet to go live, but that should not stop you from earning yield on the token itself. So I went and I bought the token, and I mean, it's going up in price, but the minute the mainnet goes live, I will then be able to pair it with, you know, stable coin or what have you in order to do that. And one of the places that you might want to do that, you see they are backed by the best, ladies and gentlemen. They're with AI16Z, you know, and that, of course, you know, is a big one. Coinbase is a big one. SVA, Foresight, Nvidia, of course, the biggest of the big. You know, Salt, you know, they got Fanfeld, the Near Protocol. I told you they were partnered with the Near Protocol. And they got this one here, which is Symbiotic Capital, Black Dragon Capital. I like that, Black Dragon. You know, he must know Kung Fu or something. All right, Canonical Crypto, Celestia, which is a old blockchain that I used to mess with when I was doing Cosmos Atom big time, okay? So yeah, so Celestia is all about modular blockchains there. But as you can see, you can actually go and it, you know, infrastructure network providing decentralized AI. Decentralized AI is very important, ladies and gentlemen, because we cannot let 4 or 5 guys, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Sam Altman, you know, Elon Musk, and, you know, saying 1 or 2 others, you know, control the entirety of all humanity. So if we go back over here, you can see you got Open Gradient here, and then you got the contract address there. You could either get it on the base chain or the Binance Smart Chain. Me, myself, of course, I'm going to get it on the base chain because that's where most of the AI things that are happening, especially when it comes to micropayments and or X402 is what they call, you know, where you're going to be able to make, well, not you, but your AI agent will be making micropayments to basically carry out, you're going to be able to delegate a lot of responsibility of things that you do through AI. I told you in the beginning of this video, the perfect user for blockchain, it's not you, it's AI. And the perfect user for AI are AI agents, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to continue to enlighten you on how to get into AI, how to create AI agents, how to use things like OpenClaw and Hermes and Paperclip and, you know, just all, you know, Claude AI, Anthropic, you know what I'm saying? Venice AI, of course, and moving more so towards privatized AI. Because if we do centralized AI, we're basically going to be kind of oppressed and censored, and we're not going to have access to all the things that we would like to have access to, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go today, ladies and gentlemen. There's a whole lot more I got to tell you. There's a whole lot of things. As a matter of fact, I wanted to tell you guys about AI that's on BSV, which is the original Bitcoin protocol, ladies and gentlemen, because the world has been deceived. They think BTC is Bitcoin. I assure you, I can prove to you with something that is actual, factual, and verifiable that it is not. But that's okay, because if you've been on this channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, stay tuned and it will be revealed as we continue to get this crypto.